Burnout can go unnoticed for long durations because of some of the ways it presents. Have you ever heard the term occupational burnout? Have you ever used the term teacher burnout? Have you ever heard anyone use either of these terms? Occupational burnout has become more commonplace over the last couple of decades and even more prevalent in the last 3 years, partly because there are a set of symptoms that can be classified using this specific terminology. Additionally, there are more people than ever leaving their employment citing occupational burnout as their primary reason. Let's explore what occupational burnout is, what causes it, how to spot the symptoms, and ways to prevent occupational burnout from bringing the end to your much-loved career. What exactly is occupational burnout? There are some occupations that are renowned for high stress level and also high stress risks. Burnouts occur where there are substantially high levels of stress for prolonged periods of time without subsiding. Herbert Freudenberger is credited for coining the terminology occupational burnout back in the 1970s. This is after he asserted that professions involving a strong sense of morality or purpose and commitment, where professionals sacrifice themselves for the good of others, were most at risk for occupational burnout. This is also recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed, although they are yet to officially classify burnout as a medical condition. Occupational burnouts are caused by a range of different factors, all of which are linked to chronic workplace stress. These stresses could be in the form of unrealistic expectations for educators and other professionals, especially in situations where these unrealistic expectations and poor work conditions are ongoing for extended periods of time. Another causative factor is role conflict and ambiguity. When professionals have a lack of clarity in what is expected of them and spend hours completing activities that are not going to be of any effective use because the brief that they had was unclear and much rush is needed in order to complete duplicate versions for people, and also where they are simply unclear of their roles and their responsibility and as such unable to accomplish what is required of them in those capacities. Other factors are increased demands and limited time with which things are expected to be accomplished. For educators, this is compounded by having difficult behaviors to manage, either because leaders feel that poor behaving students are best suited with particular individuals, or the behavior policies are so vague that teachers are unclear with how to implement them. Equally, it could be that the school's behavior management system are not fit for purpose and educators are expected to make do. Other factors may be the workload and the deadlines that are given to teachers that are not realistic, and therefore teachers are having to make additional hours in their days in order to accomplish what is expected of them within a reasonable timeline. Finally, the erosion of public respect and support for educators over recent decades could also be contributing to teachers' professional burnout. Burnout can go unnoticed for long durations because of some of the ways it presents. Many professionals who suffer from burnout tend to have a feeling of depletion or unexplained exhaustion. This triggers a reduction in performance that highly successful individuals find difficult to regulate. They can become detached from their profession due to a loss of passion, onset by their inability to regulate their performance to the high levels they expect of themselves. This leads burnout professionals to become overwhelmed and mentally fatigued. Their lowered standards can also trigger unstable emotion, anxiety, and depression. When you are passionate about your profession, you want to find different ways to serve. Often this leads to overcommitment of time and service to a point where it becomes difficult to balance. It is therefore important for professionals to set healthy boundaries. Be self-aware, know your strengths and areas for development, and be clear about the load that you are carrying. Prioritize your duties and commitments. Be comfortable with saying no to additional load that you know will be too much to carry. Set up a smart working structure and explore ways to be more effective and efficient with the disposable time you have without compromising on self-care. Take time to be mindful of the impact your work, schedule, and commitment is having on your well-being, and transform schedules where necessary. Where possible, join a professional support community where you can develop your pedagogy and access useful resources to help you fulfill your responsibilities. Although burnout is not yet fully recognized as a medical condition, it is nevertheless a real situation for educators and other professionals who are experiencing the effects and working relentlessly to overcome the strain it causes mentally and physically, as well as the toil it has on their profession. Remember, working ourselves into an early grave does no one any good, and when it all boils down, no one is irreplaceable in any workplace. As professionals, we owe ourselves the duty of care to ensure we are managing our wellness and seeking the support we need to live a full and wholesome life. And when we do so, we are able to provide the best experiences and learning opportunities for our students. So it is important that we make sure that we are safeguarding ourselves from professional burnout. Have you or a colleague you know have any of these experiences? Was there any help within the workplace? How were the symptoms alleviated?